I am going to try to make eggnog from scratch. Both me and my husband think the price of eggnog is ridiculous this year. It could just be because everything is just getting expensive, so we feel like everything's expensive. But either way, I found a recipe on tastebetterfromscratch.com, and I will link it down below. I already had all the ingredients except for heavy whipping cream. And again, this is another heavy whipping cream. The price is ridiculous. So maybe after all the time and effort, time-wise, it might be cheaper to buy eggnog, but I'm gonna give it a try because I do also agree with this website. Everything does taste better from scratch. So first thing is going to be the most difficult for me is we need 6 egg yolks. So I have to separate the egg yolks. I don't have any fancy device that does that. I'm gonna have to do this off camera because I can't do it one-handed. I'm just gonna do the crack the egg and go from one side to the other until it's just the yolk left. Looks easy, but I'm sure it's not. All right, I've never tried this before, but I think I just found the trick. This is a Chinese spoon, and all I did was crack the egg in it, and the yolk the white just went around it, and the yolk is in the spoon. And yeah, that was pretty easy. So assuming you have a Chinese spoon, that worked amazingly well. All right, I'm gonna highly recommend getting a Chinese soup spoon because it's a multi-purpose tool. So yeah, I didn't split a single yolk. These are starting to run only because I was trying to pick out that white stuff, but it doesn't matter because we are gonna, once we're done making the eggnog, we are gonna run it through a strainer. So I get out all the, snotty bits. And then this is the egg white. I saved that for something, I don't know what yet, maybe make some meringue, I don't know. But here we go. So the next step is to add 1/2 cup granulated sugar and whisk it with the yolks until it's nice and creamy. Here are the egg yolks and the sugar whisked together. And then the next step in a saucepan is 1 cup heavy whipping cream, 2 cups milk, 1/2 teaspoon ground nutmeg, a pinch of salt. Gonna whisk this together at very low heat. Stir until it reaches a bare simmer. All right, now that the milk has warmed up, that took about 8 minutes, we're gonna temper it into the egg mixture by taking a spoonful of time of the hot milk into the eggs, whisking it, and then keep adding the hot milk a little bit at a time just to temper it in. And I have cats. Always have cats watching. If you're not familiar with the term tempering, it's just like when you're adding a hot mixture to eggs, you don't want to scramble your eggs. So you just do a little at a time so it doesn't cook the eggs. So I've just been adding a spoonful, pouring it in, adding, mixing. All right, now that I've tempered the mixture, I pour it back. I pour everything into this pan on the stove, the saucepan, and now I'm to whisk constantly for just a few minutes until the mixture is just slightly thickened or until it reaches about 160 degrees Fahrenheit on thermometer. I do not have a thermometer. I really do need to get a cooking thermometer. I'm just gonna cook it for 3 or 4 minutes and then it will thicken as it cools. Once we remove it from the heat, we add in the vanilla, which was 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're gonna pour the eggnog through a fine mesh strainer and refrigerate it for a little bit because you want it cold, and it says it's about good for a week in the fridge. So altogether, it's taking me like a half hour to make this eggnog. So yeah, it's probably cost effective wise, it's probably cheaper just to buy grocery store eggnog. But I needed a break from work. I don't mind making this. It's actually been fun. It's glad to know that I can separate egg yolk from egg whites, no problem. And I had all the ingredients except for the heavy whipping cream. That's the only thing we had to buy. I don't know if you can hear that. That's the kittens playing. So I really just am gonna cook it until it's warm. I mean, it is warm, but I tempered it a little bit, so I want it to get back to really warm. And yes, I really need to remember to get a thermometer. So the reason that you want to make sure it's the proper temperature is for like, because there is a raw egg in here. So you want to cook the egg. I'm not really worried about egg illnesses. Never had an issue. But safety wise, I really need to get a thermometer, especially because I want to make some candy too. And anytime you're making candy with like sugar, when you're melting sugar, you definitely want to use a thermometer. And I used to have one. I just broke it and never bought a replacement. So anyway, I'll come back when I get to the straining step. Is it boiling at all? Nope. The bubbles are just from me whisking it. Another comment, I'm leaving out the alcohol. I don't like eggnog with alcohol. I have no problem having a drink here or there, but I prefer my eggnog without alcohol. Kind of like how I prefer my Bloody Marys. I do love Bloody Marys. Sometimes I don't mind the alcohol, but I really like it without it too. All right, this is the only fine mesh strainer I have. I'm not exactly for sure what we're trying to strain out. Don't know. Because I think all the egg snot has cooked out. And even reading the recipe, it says if you want it finer, you can blend it. But there's nothing chunky in it, so I don't know. What am I missing? If someone knows, tell me, why am I straining this? I don't mind, but... And then I'm gonna refrigerate it until it chills, and then we will do a taste test. I mean, it's picking up a couple pieces of my nutmeg, because it was ground nutmeg, but... nothing else is sticking in the strainer. I guess we did catch some egg schmutz. All right, it's looking good. Now I'm gonna refrigerate that and we'll see if my husband likes it. All right, the eggnog has been chilling. My husband's taste testing it right now. Mine's just a little bit because it's
delicious.
It needs to be colder, but that is really good. Do you like it, Robert?
I do, it's very good.
He really likes eggnog, so. Are you happy with it?
I'm very happy. It'll be a lot better when it's cold.
I got impatient. It was chilling for about an hour. It needs longer than that. I kind of like it. It tastes like...
It's good.
It tastes like creme brulee in liquid form.
Well, it's pretty much the same ingredients, I think, isn't it? Or close to it. I mean, it's not the same, but...
It's pretty good.
It's really good. It's delicious.
I definitely recommend this recipe, and like I think I mentioned earlier, I will link it down below. Tastes like Christmas.